Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit today about stopping your messing around with people that aren't into you, basically, or that aren't giving you the time of day, or that aren't making as much effort, let's say, to see you as you are to see them. Now, a couple things. This could certainly go for women just as much as it could go for men, but I'm talking, of course, from a man's standpoint, and I'm more or less talking about, let's talk about dating today. This is a place where this rears its head a lot as you're out there meeting people. So as I said, this is relatable for women just as much as it is for men, I think, but I'll use some examples or try to on both sides of the coin. But when we cross paths with somebody that really just does it for us, we have a way of putting ourselves out there a little bit more, or letting things slide that we definitely should not, in the name of those attributes that roped our interest in. So for example, if you're a guy out there listening to this and you maybe got a girl's number, you've been trying to set up a date with her, it's just not panning out. There's clear cut. There's not a reciprocity on both sides about your willingness from both ends to get together. This is, of course, very recognizable, and you know when this is happening. You know when you're getting static. You know when you're getting the runaround. You know when you're getting, all sorts of stuff where it's just not coming together. We have a mental way in our minds of kind of stringing along through these situations, because if you're a guy, it's like, I guarantee you some of the things that are keeping you strung along in such a fashion are, you remember the way her eyes looked, or you remember the feature of her body that you liked, or you remember the way she smelled, or you remember the way she smiled at you, or remember the way that she made you think that she might have been a little bit more into you as than she really was. And so you hold on to these little bits and pieces, and in your mind you're like, well, yeah, I know I haven't heard from her in a couple of days, and normally, like, a normal conversation goes back and forth, and you kind of figure things out when two people normally want to get together. None of that's happened, but you're like, yeah, but gosh, yeah, I remember X, Y, and Z about her, and I really want to see her again. I really want to do this, and that. And there is this little mind trick that comes along with that. And those sorts of things override your better judgment when you're really interested in a person, and it makes you do stupid things that compromises your own personal, I think your self-value and your self-worth, because nobody should treat you like that if they think that highly of you. There's obviously some reason that they're not interested in making plans with you, and it could be any number of things. It doesn't always have to be just you. It could, a lot of times, it's probably got to do with things that are going on in their lives and wherever they're at and whatever. But yeah, maybe they are just not into you. They felt whatever, pressured or bad to give you their number that day you met them, or whatever the situation is that you're dealing with. But nonetheless, there's just this overarching picture that there's a reason that they aren't as invested into getting to know you or spending time with you. And as I said, this should be a very plain and obvious thing. This should be easy to identify, but it's not. We all get caught up in our minds. We all get this, like, oh my God, I don't care about any of the other stuff. I just want to see her again, no matter what. Doesn't matter. I'll do anything, right? And that is not the way to be. That is not how a person of high value holds and carries and conducts themselves. They don't settle for that sort of stuff. And that's one of the biggest things that I aim to do here on this channel, is to get you to start thinking on those terms, that you are a person of great value and that you do have a lot that you bring to the table. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I wrote an article sometime back about this called Your Loss, but I really believe that each and every one of us needs to develop that mindset and that power of mind and that strength of inner core to be able to apply this sort of mindset, that when somebody gives you the runaround like this, or when somebody doesn't want to make plans with you, or somebody doesn't want to get to know you anymore, you need to start looking at it like it's more their loss than it is yours. Like, you are doing a nice thing by coming into their lives and offering your presence and offering everything that you are as a human being. And it's too bad that they didn't want to take you up on that offer, and they're never going to know what they missed out on. But as long as you know what you are on the inside, and you feel who you are, and you know what you are, and you know who you are, then you're going to be able to walk away from these situations to still have your head held high. And furthermore, you're not going to deal with this crap, and you're not going to settle for those instances like I'm talking about, where people aren't giving you the time of day. They don't want to get together with you. And that's fine. It's okay. There's nothing on this earth that says that anybody has to ever involve themselves with you if they don't want to. So don't take it too personally. Don't beat yourself up too much. As I said, try to look at it like it's more their loss than it is yours. And circling back to the original message of the talk here, like don't allow yourself to be strung along. Don't mess with people that aren't interested in messing with you, kind of thing. And as I said, the same thing. I'll recap, and for you ladies out there, I think you ladies go through a lot of the same things, where whatever the attributes were that sucked you in initially about this moment with this man that you've been trying to meet, maybe it was his charisma, or the way that he smelled, or the way that he looked, or the way that he just carried himself, his swagger, his masculine energy, whatever it was. Like you might have one of those small little bits and pieces that just makes you go wild. It just makes you crazy, and you almost can't contain it. But I do believe, in the same regard, if you've made a couple solid attempts to try to solicit this man's attention and get together and do whatever, and you're not getting the reciprocity back, it's the same thing, I think, for you, where you probably as well have a way to allow yourself to be strung along. But all of what I just outlined, that same stuff goes for you ladies too. Like, you are people of immeasurable value. You're human beings. You are a soul just like anybody else. And for you as well, you need to learn to look at these situations as more of their loss than it is yours, and just keep on going through life and not hang up too much on it, and not get so caught up that you'll just bend over backwards and do anything for this guy that snaps his fingers when the time is right for him, or whatever. And that said, also, I think that if you do have the power and the ability to walk away from these moments, almost in a nonchalant way, or without this resentment that could grow inside you, or anger, just chalk it up to like, hey, it didn't work out right now, and just leave that moment, leave that thing alone. Don't try to mess with that person that's not trying to mess with you. And you never know, they might come back around, a week later, a month later, 3 months later, whatever it is. But if this is a new person, you have no established anything with them, like, you can't be too mad about the fact that just the time in your lives maybe wasn't congruent or right for you to grow something, maybe, or to explore something. And it's like, hey, if you never got together in the first place, and with that notion that I mentioned before, like, you never know what's going on in other people's lives, like, just let it go, move on, walk away, never look back. And if somehow they circle back and the time's right for you, then okay, give it a chance. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just talking mostly about this initial stage of getting to know somebody where you very first met, you very first exchanged contact information. It's just the best thing for you to do is, after you shoot your shot, you make your attempt, like, just stop messing with it if it's not working out. Don't keep trying to hit the situation. Don't keep trying to repeatedly make attempts, because that's only going to drive a person further off, most likely. But just like I said, biggest thing, just stop messing with people that don't want to mess with you right now, or ever. Just plain and simple. It's such a simple thing, but we all get caught up in that quicksand that exists in our mind, where you're roped in by those attributes, and you just have to have the awareness to not allow that to happen to yourself as much as you possibly can. So, all right, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll talk again real soon.